I never imagined that the man I vowed to spend forever with would betray me in the worst possible way. But life has a way of showing you people's true colors when you least expect it. My name is Emily, and this is the story of how my husband left me for my younger sister, without knowing I had already sold his cars and some of his properties. It all started one rainy evening. I had just finished preparing his favorite meal, roast chicken with mashed potatoes. The aroma filled the house and I smiled, thinking about how happy he would be when he returned from work. But that day he didn't come home on time. Hours passed and my calls went unanswered. Something in my heart told me that my marriage was about to shatter. By midnight he finally walked through the door, but something was off. His eyes wouldn't meet mine and the air between us was tense. "We need to talk," he muttered, avoiding my gaze. My heart pounded. "What is it, Daniel?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. He sighed and ran a hand through his hair. "Emily, I don't know how to say this, but I'm in love with someone else. I want a divorce." I felt the floor shift beneath me. My world spun and for a moment I thought I would faint. "What?" I finally managed to whisper. "Daniel, after everything we've been through? Who is she?" That was when he dropped the bombshell. "It's Claire. Your sister. We didn't plan for this to happen, but we can't fight love. My own sister. My blood. The girl I had carried on my back when she was little. The one I had protected from bullies. The one I had helped raise after our mother passed. She was the one my husband had chosen over me." Tears stung my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. I clenched my fists and took a deep breath. If he thought I would break down and beg him to stay, he didn't know me at all. "Fine," I said, my voice steady despite the storm inside me. "You can have your freedom, Daniel. But just know this, every action has consequences." He smirked as if he had won. "I knew you'd understand. I'll send my lawyer the divorce papers. I'll be moving out tomorrow." I nodded. "That's fine." But what he didn't know was that I had already taken steps to protect myself. I had noticed his strange behavior months ago. The late-night calls, the unnecessary business trips, the sudden interest in taking his phone with him everywhere. So I had prepared myself. Earlier that month, I had legally transferred ownership of 3 of our cars to my name. The house we lived in was already mine. My parents had given it to me before our marriage. And as for his shares in the small business we ran together, I had quietly sold them off. He thought he was leaving me with nothing. But in reality, I was the one who had taken everything from him without him even knowing. As he walked into the bedroom that night, I sat on the couch, sipping my tea, a small smile playing on my lips. This was just the beginning. The next morning, Daniel woke up in high spirits. He packed his bags, humming a tune as if he had just won the lottery. He barely looked at me as he moved around, stuffing his clothes into suitcases, grabbing his cologne and throwing his shoes into a duffel bag. It was as if I had already disappeared from his life. He was eager to leave, eager to start his new life with my sister, eager to erase our years together like they meant nothing. The betrayal was a slow burn in my chest, but I held my head high, refusing to let him see even a flicker of pain on my face. I wasn't going to give him that satisfaction. The sound of the doorbell cut through the tense air. I didn't need to guess who it was. Claire. Of course, she wouldn't let him leave alone. She had to be here, probably to rub it in my face, to watch me crumble. I wasn't going to give her that either. Daniel hurried to the door, his face lighting up in a way it never did for me anymore. Claire stood there, dressed to perfection, a confident smirk on her lips. She barely spared me a glance as she leaned in to kiss my husband. No, my soon-to-be ex-husband. I stood in the hallway watching them without a word, arms crossed over my chest. Let them have their moment. Let them think they had won. Daniel grabbed his last bag and turned to me almost as an afterthought. "I'll have the lawyer send you the divorce papers," he said, his tone flat, businesslike, as if I was just another transaction he was closing. "I'm sure you'll be fine, Emily. You're a strong woman." The way he said it was almost mocking, as if he expected me to fall apart the moment he walked out that door. I let out a small chuckle, shaking my head. "You're right, Daniel. I am a strong woman. Stronger than you think." I walked over to the front door, holding it open for them. "Don't keep your new life waiting." He hesitated just for a second, as if something in my tone unsettled him. But Claire, eager and impatient, grabbed his arm. "Come on, baby. We have a flight to catch." She turned to me with a smirk. "You'll move on, Emily. It's for the best." I simply smiled. Oh, I already have. Daniel stepped outside, pressing the button on his key fob, expecting his car to beep in response. Nothing happened. He frowned, pressing it again. Silence. He turned to me, confusion flashing across his face. Emily, where's my car? I leaned against the doorframe, arms still crossed, enjoying this moment more than I should have. Oh, you mean the cars that were legally in my name? I sold them. His face went pale. You did what? I tilted my head. And the properties under our joint business? I sold your shares too. You were too busy sneaking around to notice. Claire's smirk disappeared instantly. You're joking, right? I shrugged, letting my words sink in. You see, I knew this day was coming, so I made sure you left with exactly what you deserved. Nothing. Daniel's eyes darkened as realization dawned on him. You can't do this to me, Emily. I'll fight you in court. I let out a light laugh. With what money? You don't have anything left. And you have no legal claim to what I've done. The documents are all signed, sealed, and legitimate. So good luck with that. His breathing grew heavy, his eyes darting around as if searching for a way out. Claire grabbed his arm, her voice rising with panic. Daniel, tell me this isn't true. You said you had money. We were supposed to travel to Paris next week. I smiled sweetly at her. Oh, Claire. Did you think you won? You betrayed your own sister for a man who just lost everything. Enjoy your new life. Daniel stood outside my door for a long time. I could hear his footsteps pacing, his heavy breathing, and the occasional curse under his breath. He wasn't ready to face the reality of what had just happened. I didn't care. I had spent years sacrificing for him, putting his needs above mine, trusting him blindly, only for him to betray me with the one person I never expected. Now he was the one who had to suffer. Eventually, I heard his footsteps fade as he walked away. A strange sense of relief washed over me. The storm had passed and I had survived. But I knew Daniel wouldn't just disappear quietly. He had too much pride for that. It didn't take long for the rumors to start. Friends and family began calling, some out of concern, others just looking for gossip. I ignored most of them. I wasn't interested in reliving the pain or explaining myself to anyone. But then one afternoon I received a call from my aunt, Margaret. She never called unless something was really important. Emily, I just saw Daniel, she said, her voice filled with hesitation. He was at the diner looking, well, terrible. He's not handling this well. I scoffed. And I should care because? She sighed. I know he hurt you, but he's still human. He's lost everything. He told people you ruined his life. That you tricked him out of his money and property. I rolled my eyes. Of course, he would spin the story to make himself the victim. Aunt Margaret, Daniel ruined his own life. I just made sure he didn't walk away with mine. I understand, sweetheart. I just wanted you to be aware. He might try something. I hung up, feeling a mixture of anger and exhaustion. Daniel still hadn't accepted that he was the cause of his own downfall. He thought if he played the victim he could manipulate people into feeling sorry for him. But I wasn't going to let him drag me back into his mess. A few days later I ran into Claire. I hadn't seen her since she walked away from Daniel. She looked different, tired, thinner, like she hadn't been sleeping well. She spotted me before I could turn away and rushed over. Emily, please, can we talk? I folded my arms. Talk about what, Claire? How you betrayed me. How you threw away your own sister for a man who had nothing to offer you. Her eyes filled with tears. I made a mistake. Thought I loved him. I thought he would take care of me. But he's broke, he's miserable, and now he blames me for everything. I lost everything, Emily. My family, my dignity. And for what? I studied her for a long moment. There was no satisfaction in seeing her this way. She had done this to herself just like Daniel had. I shook my head. I can't help you, Claire. You made your choice. Now you have to live with it. She reached out, but I stepped back. Emily, please. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I just needed you to know that I regret everything. I took a deep breath. Good. But regret doesn't erase what happened. Goodbye, Claire. I walked away, leaving her standing there just like she had left me when she chose Daniel. I didn't owe her anything. My focus now was on rebuilding my life, free from the people who had tried to destroy it. I had already won and I wasn't looking back. Weeks passed and life slowly started settling into a new rhythm. The weight of betrayal no longer pressed so heavily on my chest. I focused on my work, my home, and my peace. But Daniel wasn't done causing trouble. I should have expected it. One evening, I arrived home to find him sitting on my porch. He looked like a ghost of the man I once knew. His clothes wrinkled, his hair unkempt, and his face hollow with exhaustion. I wasn't sure if it was sadness or anger that filled me when I saw him there, but I knew one thing. I didn't want him in my space. "What do you want, Daniel?" I asked, keeping my distance. He looked up at me with desperate eyes. "Emily, please just hear me out." I sighed. "You lost that privilege when you walked out on me for my sister." He ran a hand through his hair and let out a heavy breath. "I know. And I regret it. Claire is gone. She left me as soon as she realized I had nothing to offer. I lost everything, Emily. My job, my dignity. I'm completely broke. I don't even have a place to stay." I crossed my arms, unmoved. "And whose fault is that?" "Wine." His voice cracked. "I made the biggest mistake of my life. I thought I was chasing happiness, but I was chasing a lie. You were the best thing that ever happened to me, and I threw it away. Please, Emily. I don't deserve your forgiveness, but if there's even a small part of you that still cares, please let me stay just for a while. Just until I can get back on my feet." I stared at him, feeling nothing but pity. Not love. Not anger. Just pity. "You want to come back now? After everything? After I rebuilt my life without you? After you left me with nothing but heartbreak?" He swallowed hard. "I know I don't deserve it, but I have nowhere else to go. I just need time to fix things." I shook my head, a bitter smile on my lips. "Fix things? Daniel, there's nothing left to fix. You made your choice. You walked away from our home, our marriage, and now you want to crawl back because you have nothing." He looked down, his shoulders sagging in shame. "I understand. I just thought, maybe." I took a deep breath, then stepped past him and unlocked my door. I turned to face him one last time. "You need to learn to live with the choices you made. Just like I did. Now leave, Daniel. Don't come back." He opened his mouth as if to argue but stopped himself. He saw it in my eyes. I was done. There was no second chance waiting for him here. With a deep sigh, he stood up and walked away, disappearing into the night. I watched him go, feeling nothing but relief. I stepped inside my home, locking the door behind me. This time there was no sadness, no regret. I had won. Not by revenge, not by bitterness, but by choosing myself. And that was the greatest victory of all.